Of the pen.
So we're being told the starters taking their time to make sure that they have their arms ready. We should see them playing in spring training games in about a week.
Your former #1 draft pick of these Cubs, and he's trying to take the ball back through the middle.
Over here to the White Sox, he has an opportunity to make this team, even though he's a non-roster invite. There's
a little more damaging when we saw it in Wrigley Field, but for him, a great. That fastball backed up a bit, right in the sweet spot. As much because there's not as much humidity, and it's humidity and content of moisture, and all of a sudden they'll rediscover a curveball or a slider. He was almost a coach on the field. He knows how to handle pitchers well. For his acumen behind the plate, his ability to work pitchers to get deep in the lineup, he'll take you out of the ballpark offensively.
Nice.
Strikes the next guy out. Had he known that, he'd have gone out sooner. Take a look. The SOX spring training.
Meetings. When the catcher comes out and sees something.
Just about everything you need in the game will notice more than other, especially younger catchers. Go 3/4, like Chavez is. You're a hitter up and into a right-hand hitter, and you have to stay close. You might find that. This is that the guy's moving his look. Go back to this and that. And they go over a lot of things, and game plan, he reminds it.
Sent out to R. Chavez has settled down. He's ahead in the count here, 1-2.
Yeah, what he could have said anything. Maybe at times dipping your arm or not. And the most important thing, not keeping your fingers on top of the balls. He's leaving the ball up in the zone. Not so good.
The 1-2 pitch.
You take another look at it. A little bit bigger than a normal slider, but it's in a great position. Believe is their center fielder of the future, Armstrong.
Shows bunt, puts it down to the left side, and it rolls foul.
Craig 14 last year because he burst on the scene, did not get a hit, 19 at bats. But he tries to lay down a bunt.
Swinging away this time, sends it in, rounding second. And the throw into second. Listeners on it, second and third.
Another look at it. He went down and got this one. He's maybe the best center fielder in baseball in the minor leagues. He's going to be able to play, and he should be in center field for them for a long time.
Shortstop Luis Vasquez, 1-1 the count. First game of the spring. Chavez missing just off.
The most exciting game. This and opening day of the regular season are just great games. Continue to be that way.
3-1 pitch, missing outside, ball 4. He's given up a 2-run home run to Christopher Morel.
Both holdovers from previous seasons.
Throw down to second by Maldonado.
Might gain a step and stop a run.
A half given chase. It's going to go all. Throw will come in. A huge double.
The movement straight down wasn't there, and he rifled. But for the most part, veterans, you don't worry about the results of spring training. Baseball know exactly what Jesse Chavez can do, which is take the ball, as you said, from about 2/3 of the way.
That all speed is drilled into the left. And it's a 6-0 lead for the Cubs here in the first.
Just getting the third out and letting the offense get to work.
Coach will make the slow walk out to the mound. Talk to Chavez.
Because there's really not much you can do.
Live batting practice throughout the week.
You know, and that's the interesting thing, because round into shape. But those days are done, because pitchers and catchers, here we are playing the first game. So if you're not ready to play when spring training's camp for the White Sox.
So the Cubs have batted around Ian Happ. First. The other day, saw Eric Fetty throw his first live BP yesterday.
Yeah, I think at this point, your pitchers at all of their performances and stay on top of everything they do, so there's no bad spring. Arizona is very much of a hitter. A lot of winds. We talked about the very hard surface. You don't get a lot of rain so here in the spring.
App grounds it to the right. Put up 6 runs at the end of 1. It's the Cubs 6-0. So Jordan Wicks out for a second inning of work for the Cubs. He faces off against third baseman Brian Ryan in live batting practice. He's had quality at bats.
Going to increase exponentially.
Ramos this one. And that'll bring up the DH, Tim Elko. And if you're an SEC baseball fan, his name today as the DH.
Anytime you can hit in the high, pretty big numbers, and that's one of the things that Chris Getz was too. And watched him. The foot gets down, which is and doesn't try to pull it. I think that's really important. Most power hitters have a tendency.
He had a live BP at bat this week against Dylan. Wish I could have gotten one more at bat against him. The lead.
You'll have a lot of top of the line hitters. If I'd have just kept my hands back a little further, I'd have hit that.
Left fielder. Backhanded at first by Mervis. Get their lead runner at second. Over
that a shortstop, especially a young shortstop, throw it because the only thing you can do is get yourself in trouble. Base side has to redirect and go back to first. Turns out he missed it once and then missed it a second time.
Whoop.
There's 2. And that's all the pitches they want him to throw. So we're going to. We'll be back.
Lenders in the country thinking about buying a home, wondering how you could pay less each month. I'm still looking for a place in Chicago myself. So guaranteed rate might be a league prospects. Cubs.
Well, see, there's 2 92s with no name on their back, and we'll go with that. Yeah. Actually, that is the.
All part of the spring training fun.
This is it.
Right?
Well, you get to be able to hear the signals.
That's right. We get our first look at Nicky.
Wonderful guy, by the way. I'm very excited to be back.
Looking for a place in Chicago right now. He's looking at downtown.
Just as soon live his own place.
Runner goes. Nobody. Rafael Ortega. So first and third now for Lopez with 2 outs. Starting at second, can also play short. And he'll stay alive with that swing.
The guys that we've seen around a long time, always wearing the white and number 8.
He was so excited. Family, everyone's how excited him and his growing family and
play in front of your folks, which is just great. The ability to see a lot of games.
He's run the count full. And that one, a solo shot, showing you the power. Going oppo deal. Highest paid manager in baseball. What do you think he now
did? A great job with the Brewers. He's a Milwaukee guy. He's a very simple guy. One of those guys that knows how to run both the spring training and about how things work on a daily basis. And I think the Cub fan wasn't a star player, but was a good player. And he's taken it over, see what they're going through, because he had to battle his way through it.
Marlins board up 2-0. It's now 6-1 Cubs here in this bottom of the second. Side, Ramos charging, throwing on the run, bullpen spot. And when I talked to Ethan Katz, the pitching coach, about Barlow, of what his form looked like, some of the things that were effective for him. And he
big contract players, non-roster players, you just bring them in to take a look at them. Who's ever pitched knows with a can't feel the ball near as well.
DeYoung
A couple of ground balls. He goes fly balls here. Number 1, there's nothing that a pitching coach and a manager likes better than a guy can come out of the bullpen, but in lieu of that, ground balls are terrific.
That ball is ripped foul by Matt.
It's going to be tough for Matt. Because Bellinger, but they've got Pete Crow Armstrong out there, and they've got Bush. See what happens as the negotiations 5 that are sitting out there waiting, and there's a lot of people waiting to see what they're going to do. He's waiting for contracts.
2-2 pitch. Off speed is fouled off by Mervis.
They're going to sign. We'll just have to see with who.
Second.
And it was nice to see Tim Anderson, and he gets a chance to reestablish his worth. And
Barlow trying to work a 1-2-3 second inning here. Just Barlow. It was interesting something you said in the first inning where you said results.
Guys that they're going to Chicago for sure. But result a spot.
That one back up the middle.
SOX, and the first person up is our very own John Schriffen. Let's get to know the first person up is our very own John Schriffen. Let's get to know a little bit more about.
Has had some rule changes now for this upcoming 2024 season. The pitch clock is cut down from 5 to 4. If a pitcher is sent to warm up for an inning, you got to face at least one guy coming up. And the runner's lane has been widened on that. How that might impact the game.
Well, what it stops really is guys that, so you'll probably have less interference with guys trying to throw to first base and changes as far as so because we have the second one that didn't work and now we'll have to pitch calm, but all's well that ends well, and that's what happened with
used by the White Sox today here to start this bottom of the third. And it lifted out to Young, drifting,
and which is communication.
Sox fans, single game.
What was it like? Tell our folks listening today applied for this job or called up Brooks Boyer and they chose you. I believe they made the right choice.
It was really a dream come true, and I think it took until today, and it really hasn't. There's so much history with this team, right? I mean, this is one of 30 jobs.
To have not looked up your history, you were accepted to Dartmouth, and fortunately they get injured. When did you realize that you wanted to stay around actually broadcasting and hope to get around?
We think of ourselves as just a ball player, and for me, I thought I was just a baseball player. You know, when I was in college, baseball player. When it got taken away and when you get hurt, then you're searching and finding, what am I? Team, come talk for an inning, and if you have fun, great. If not, who cares? It's one of those places where all the problems in your world just go away. For me, being in the booth is one of those.
It's not only a wonderful way to make a living, but for just about each and every day all season, and that's the wonderful intricate game. But on the surface, it looks simplistic, and people that come and watch each and every game, whether they come to the ballpark, every spring training, you still have hope. I know it was a terrible year than last year.
At least.
Yeah, because they're going to catch the ball. I think you'll see I think you're going to see a good manager. I think he went through some growing pains last year. Coaching staff that buys into it and introduce him throughout the year. I think they'll realize that Chris Getzter, guys that he brought in, are pretty good baseball.
Here in this bottom of the third, 2-0 count is swung on Grassley by Ramos. The strong throw. Showing off the kick alongside Steve Stone, John Schriffen, Ramos with a huge hack. How's that first appearance? 0 for 1. So far this season. And you look at the team and the organization, and that has been the emphasis so far that I've seen this spring. And that has been the emphasis so far that I've seen this spring.
I always love the sport. Nick Padilla comes in the ball game. That's what he did everything about it. And being from Cleveland, we'd ice over the backyard, and we would play. I skated really fast one way and really slow the other.
1 for 2 today. Singleton scored back in the first. That 6-run first inning.
84 especially. I mean, driving in runs for a corner. I mean, they viewed their outfield as being pretty good.
Vaughn will handle that one himself. Don't have to play in a game until next week. He still has time to get out. Ramos strong through.
A little bit more defense in this game, and they're making the plays they have to make. Are pretty good plays, some that are routine. And that's turning the double play when they get the opportunity that they want to avoid. Give them the 3 outs, something them away.
Padilla on the mound. That curveball bends in there. Another ground ball to third by Ramos. Done.
Throw me down, put him in uniform, and he taught you to hit major league pitching. And the thing I always liked about Jim Thome, I think he was that strong, but he also understands, and a lot of star players don't swing to young hitters. And Jim is able to do that. He's able to get it across. There's respect because of who he is, but then you have to earn respect talking to guy. Does it very, very well. He's one of the great guys in the game, was one of the left-hander coming on.
So a couple changes for the White. And what's great about the setup, especially for it is a phenomenal experience as a fan, especially on some of the back fields. You gate the fence where fans are is basically 100 feet away. Like this, how they get ready for a season.
First of all, spring training is exciting, and they're more accessible. You can get closer, as you mentioned, John. Be able to talk to some of the players. I mean, we see fans out there each and every. In Glendale is a beautiful facility, and
play fast today with a tunnel that goes out from the facility onto the fields. Opportunity for fans to get an autograph. There's fans on both top and down time. They're not rushing to get to a field or get to an exercise signed, any kind of a program signed. It's
delightful down here.
Oh, we got him at first. What a move, Gil Luna.
One of the things that Luna has to be careful of is that front foot.
So Canario with a single up the middle.
Look at this pickoff move. Now his head is going to look away from first base. And that to some of the others last year. And that was Dansby Swanson. He's a wonderful fielder. As it turns out, they got a gold glove at short and second in his absence. But when you're that strong up the middle, number one, you have to, and that's one of the strengths of this Cub team.
Down here in this bottom of the fifth. Check on the runner again. I mean, Canario didn't even have a...
the coaches are not going to be too happy. And not much of a lead.
That brings Arkansas at
the start
Oakland.
Of half number 2. Entertaining first half with both teams.
And that hit Crow.
Nobody out. One of those moves where when you got to first base, you took about his head was facing or anything about his body. All of a sudden the ball was there. And
is the shortstop. Grounds that one slowly to the right side. Lopez fields and throws the